Hi, welcome to my doll customizing journey. My name is Josephine and these are my creatures. I'm so excited for this project because it is a collab and I got to share it with a bunch of wonderfully talented people. If you are coming from one of their videos, then welcome! My name is Josephine and I hope you like this video. Leave it a thumbs up if you do and subscribe for more. But let me introduce everyone if you don't yet know who they are. Dolly Mixtures, Etellan, H. Ali Crafts, Jackie O, K's OOAK Factory, Crystal's Fantasy, and Unia Dolls. Here is my inspiration board for this project. First thought that I had was a Rococo-inspired, very romantic-looking doll, but we had a very tight schedule, so I had to scrap that idea. But I'm kind of glad I did, because the next idea I had was a love bug character, and I just ran with that idea. I loved it so much right away. I wanted the character to feel sweet and cute, but also a little bit mischievous. For the base doll this time I went with Honey Swamp. She has a very cute face mold and I think her green skin tone will work great at conveying the bug aspect of this character. Because I have a limited time to work on this doll, I decided to use this dress I got from Fukaru Love. And these pre-made hair wefts I got from La Fabia Rusa. To be able to customize the doll, we need to first cut out all her hair, which is kind of a shame because I really like the hair texture, but it needs to be done. Use pure acetone to remove the factory face-up. Q-tips and cotton rounds work really well to spread the acetone and wipe off the paint. Use hot water to soften the head, then you can just pull it off safely. Be patient and keep the head in the water until it's soft enough. You risk breaking the neck peg if you rush it. Scrape around the inside with pliers to get to the stubble. After she is cleaned and all the old hair is gone, you can move on with giving the doll new hair. Because the hair is already in wefts, I had the option to make a wig or fix the hair straight to the scalp. I have tried to glue in hair like this before. It works out okay, but I was always worried it would fall off if you would pull on it too hard. So I had the idea to sew the wefts on, and that worked really good. The only thing I would change is the way I decided to do the part. I thought you could fold the wefts over to make a nice part, but the fiber is way too thick for that. So instead of leaving a gap at the part, next time I think I'm gonna try out doing just a continuous spiral. Next is one of my favorite parts of customizing, the face-up. I use a scrap piece of fabric pinned in place to protect the hair from the sealant. The first layer of the face-up is really just pastels. A little bit of shadows on the perimeter of the face. I advise you to look up makeup tutorials on how to do contouring if you have a tough time figuring the placement out. I had a bit of a trouble when adding the blush to her cheeks because the blush was red and her skin tone is green and those are opposite colors. But in the end I found a shade of pink that was okay. I added her eye whites and a little bit of eyeshadow. Her lipstick is actually shaped like a heart, which I think is a cute touch. Sometimes projects and characters just flood your mind instantly with ideas, and with this doll that happened. She came together very effortlessly. I even made up her personality and backstory. I imagined her being this overly enthusiastic love bug that goes around biting the most odd pairs of people, and then they would fall in love, sometimes with catastrophic results. I think she has a hard time understanding that just because you do things with good intentions, that doesn't mean that every time the relationship is a fairy tale where complete opposites can fall in love and live happily ever after. But when she gets it right, it is magical. She likes odd pairings because of her own marriage to someone who is complete opposite to her, where in the surface she is very bubbly, cute and overly friendly. He is very reserved, calm and proper. But he has a heart of gold, truly. And as an opposite to him, our love bug loves to be a little bit mean and mischievous sometimes. Like she loves to do pranks on people. Sometimes she makes people fall in love with someone they absolutely loathe, and she finds that extremely funny. Luckily, the effects of her bite is not permanent. It's more like you fall in love madly and the next minute it can be all gone just as quickly as it came. For a finishing touch on her face up, I decided to add fake lashes. I think they pull her look together and make her look more feminine and cute. And look at these heart earrings I made for her. They are so cute. I can't even. Honey Swamp has these vine details sculpted on her body. I was really torn between removing them or keeping them, but in the end I figured they would annoy me too much because they don't go with the vibe of the doll. I removed them with my boyfriend's Dremel tool. I actually probably use it more than he does at this point. I ended up keeping some of the details on her back because I think they work with her insecty vibe. After the sanding, I spray her body with Ms.SuperClear and blush it with the same colors as the face. To seal the pastels in, I use Tamiya gloss. Because it's a little thicker and I have some bumps still left after the sanding because I was too lazy to do it properly, I want to give her a wedding ring as a nice detail that ties in with her backstory. And because I'm going for that 1950s housewife look, she needs to have a nice manicure. I have found that real nail polish stays on better than acrylic paint. From the wedding ring and the nails, I moved on to her other accessories. For shoes, I decided to work with factory ones instead, because I have a massive collection of them. The reason I like to make my own shoes most of the time is that I find the factory shoes too bulky. So that is the reason also why I cut off the toe part and made the sole of the shoe a little bit thinner. Because I took out the toe part, I now need to replace it with something else. I went with this satin ribbon. I cut a piece long enough to wrap around the shoe and to make a bow. Add a little bit of glue to keep it in place. Then I sew and gather the middle part. A small pearl will add a nice detail to the middle. The dress is a little see-through, so I'm adding this petticoat made out of a piece of tulle and some lace ribbons. It's super easy to just sew the lace pieces to the tulle, then close the back seam and add a pulling string. A big thank you to my aunt who gifted all these lovely laces to me so that I can make more doll clothes. Kiitos Marit! To make her look more like a 50s housewife that loves to bake cookies, I'm making her this pink apron. I iron in a piece of interfacing and then stitch around the edge to make it look nice and neat. At the same time, I fix the lace trim in place. We need to add a ribbon to the top part of the apron so that she can wear it. I just fold it over and sandwich the raw edges of the apron inside. For little detail, I add this heart-shaped pocket. The green color ties in the green tone of her skin very nicely. To make the apron even more over the top, I add these tiny white bows to it. I really like doing wings for my dolls, if you can't tell yet. The idea behind the design of the wings were a ladybug. I really like the aesthetic of the wings coming out under the hard shells. First, I make a sketch of the wings, and then I use wire to copy the shape I just drew. The film that I'm using is called Angelina film. I ordered mine on eBay. It melts and sticks to itself, so you want to sandwich the wire between the film and then sandwich the film in baking paper and then iron both sides in medium heat. To neaten up the edges, use a candle or a flame of a lighter. I'm making the shells out of craft foam. I sketch a shape onto the foam using the doll as reference. To make the shells curve, I cut a slit to them and then glue the sides together. I add a wire so that I can attach them to the doll later. To make them smoother and more shell-like, I add clay to the surface of them. Then I sand everything and cover it with a layer of thinned out glue, to make sure nothing pops off. In my last video, I mentioned that I ordered these Pearl X powders, and I already used them on her body and face, but I want to add even more shine to her. So I painted her shells with acrylic paint first and then sprayed it with glossy MSC and then applied the Pearl X powders for a mesmerizing effect. This detail is so cute, I can't get over it. I added these two hearts right at the tip of her shells. To add even more sparkle to her, I used this rainbow paste that I bought from the craft store a while back. I drilled 4 holes onto the doll's back so that I can insert the wings. I want the wings to be able to swivel back and forth so I don't glue the wires in place. Instead, I use tape to fill the holes enough so that the wings don't fall off, but not so much that they can't spin around. This works okay. They have difficulty holding a pose, but I can just fake that for the pictures, like using a doll stand to push them up. As a final touch, I decided to give her antennas. To me, she needed to look more bug-like. I just used 2 pins and some beads that matched her color palette. The best part is that they can swivel too. Now let's put her head back on and call her done. After some thinking, I have decided to name her Nancy, because the internet told me that Nancy was a popular name in the 1950s. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet done that, and tap the bell while you're at it. Like this video and leave a comment. I would love to know what you think of Nancy. Do check out all the other artists in this collab. I will link all of them down below. Happy binge watching, and until next time, bye!